Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're the show that takes those huge stacks of source material, cuts through the noise, and gives you what you really need to know.
That's the plan.
And today, wow, we are tackling something pretty huge. A deep dive into the lore of, well, one of the biggest fantasy worlds ever, focusing on E&C Esslemont's Knight of Knives.
Yeah, it's intense.
We're looking at just one night, a single, absolutely critical, chaotic night that basically decides the future of the Malazan Empire.
It's a massive undertaking,
Yeah.
because the stakes, they couldn't be higher. We're talking about gods being born, regimes falling apart, reality itself sort of bending on this one forgotten island.
Okay, so before we jump into all the action and the violence, maybe set the stage. Give us some context.
Right, so this world, Malaz, it wasn't just dreamed up by one person. It actually started way back in 1982. It came out of this long collaboration between Esslemont Cam and Steven Erickson.
Right, I remember reading about that. They were friends, weren't they? Archaeologists.
Exactly. Archaeology buddies, creative writing students. And crucially, they gamed together a lot for decades.
So the world wasn't written first, it was played.
Pretty much. The lore, the history, it all grew out of their role-playing campaigns, mapping things out, developing narratives on archaeological digs in the summer, hashing things out over winter. It was this living thing long before any books were published.
That makes sense why it feels so depth, so layered.
Yeah, and it got so big, so complex, that even they realized, it was too much for just one writer to handle. It needed both of them.
Which is why we get these parallel stories, right?
Yeah.
Esslemont focusing more on the early Empire stuff.
Exactly. He tackles some of those big questions about the founders, the stuff fans always wanted to know.
Okay. And this history, it was deliberately designed to confound the genre's overused tropes, wasn't it? Mixing tragedy and, well, some really dark humor.
Absolutely. It plays with expectations constantly.
So our mission today, laser focus on just 24 hours, the Knight of Knives. It's the 96th year of the Malazan Empire, the very last year Emperor Kellanved supposedly reigned.
Mm-hmm.
And it all happens on Malaz Isle, centered on this desperate rumor that the founders might be coming back.
Yeah, the return.
Right. So let's unpack the setting for this powder keg. So the first thing that jumps out is the irony of the location, Malaz Isle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is the island that gave the empire its name, the birthplace.
Mm-hmm. The very heart originally.
But by the time Knight of Knife happens, the sources say it's a dump, a backwater.
It really is the ultimate paradox, isn't it? The empire explodes across the world, conquers continents, and its own birthplace just fades, loses all strategic importance.
Forgotten.
Totally. The descriptions paint this picture of a derelict city. More ghosts than people, apparently. Deserted houses, sagging docks, this feeling of just decay everywhere.
An empty shell.
Yeah, a place you go if you want to disappear or if you're too forgotten to go anywhere else.
But this quiet decay, this neglect, it's about to be shattered. An Imperial message cutter shows up.
Right. Out of the blue.
So why now? After years of being ignored, why does the Empire suddenly care about this rock?
Well, because things are going badly elsewhere. Really badly. The Empire needs, it needs something. Control, communication, anything.
Ah, okay. So it's not about the island itself.
Not directly, no. The news from the Kirillan invasion, way down south, it's a disaster. We hear about just ferocious local resistance, casualties so high they're being officially denied. Yeah. And basically no ground gained in like half a decade. It's a quagmire.
So Malaz Isle becomes, a pit stop?
Kind of, yeah. It's reluctantly reactivated as this temporary transit point for emergency messages about this grinding, awful war. And this sudden, brief flicker of Imperial attention. It's the perfect cover.
Cover for the founders to make their move.
Exactly. Distraction and opportunity.
And their move seems focused on two key spots in this dying city.
Precisely. First up, you've got Mox Hold. It's this old fort overlooking Malaz City.
Okay.
That's where the Imperial brass sets up shop temporarily. The official who arrived on the cutter, plus a big detachment of, the Emperor's assassins. The Claw.
The Claw. Okay, we'll definitely need to talk more about them. So that's the center of the current regime's power on the island.
For this night, yes. That's where the physical resistance to the founders is going to be based.
And the second location, the legendary one.
Ah, yes. The Dead House.
This place sounds crucial.
It absolutely is. Described as this abandoned stone house, maybe the oldest building in the city, but it's the folklore, the whispers. That's what matters.
What do they say?
Local superstition claims this is the spot where Kellanved, the first emperor, and Dancer, his right-hand man, his master assassin, where they lived, where they plotted everything that came after.
Wow. So it's seen as the origin point, the place they'd have to return to.
That's the belief. It's the symbolic heart of their ambition, the place their rumored return is expected to happen.
Okay, so the stage is set. An internal conflict brewing. A potential civil war over succession. Old power versus new power.
That's the core of the political drama, yeah. On one side, you got the absent founders.
Yeah.
Emperor Kellanved, missing for years. Everyone pretty much assumes he's dead. Maybe blew himself up in some magical experiment gone wrong.
A common occupational hazard for Malazan emperors, it seems.
Huh. You could say that. And beside him, Dancer, the original master assassin. The guy who built the Empire's whole shadow network from scratch.
And the rumor is they're coming back tonight. Not just as men, but as something more.
Something much more.
Yeah.
Potentially divine. That's the fear or the hope, depending on who you ask.
And facing them, the new guard, led by the regent, Surly.
Right. Surly, she's the current mistress of the Claw, and crucially, she's next in line for the throne.
How did she get there?
Her path was cleared, dramatically, after something called the breaking of the sword, which basically means the old military elite, the guys loyal to the previous first sword, Thasum Ulter.
Yeah.
They were wiped out or disgraced.
Okay, so she rose in that power vacuum.
Exactly. And her organization, the Claw, it was initially seen as kind of a pale imitation of Dancer's original group, the Talons.
What's the difference?
Well, the Talons, they had history, loyalty, maybe even a bit of finesse, you know.
Yeah.
The Claw, they're about brutal efficiency, public displays of terror, their high activity level now. It shows how much discontent there is over Kellanved abandoning his duties for years.
So Surly represents the establishment taking over from the possibly insane founder.
Pretty much. The military intelligence apparatus solidifying control.
And that difference. The old subtle way versus the new brutal way.
Right.
It's important, right? There's that story Temper remembers.
Oh, yeah. That anecdote tells you everything about the Claw's methods. It's witnessed by this soldier, Temper, during the campaigns in the Seven Cities. It's not just killing. It's psychological warfare. Pure terror tactics.
Tell us about it. What did he see?
It's grim. Temper remembers being at the palace in Uberade when the Claw took down the local religious leader, the Falad. He saw her body, tied with silk ropes, deliberately posed, head snapped up. But her eyes were gouged out, mouth hanging open, tongueless.
Gods.
And the source emphasizes the detail. The blood pooling on this perfect, expensive coral marble floor. The contrast between the luxury and the barbarity.
Yeah.
It wasn't just an execution, it was a message. Absolute, unforgiving power. Sickened even hardened soldiers like Temper.
So when the Claw arrive on Malaz Isle, it's not just security. It's the promise of that kind of violence. They're there to eliminate any trace of the old guard. Secure Surly's power.
Permanently. That's the goal. No loose ends.
Okay, so we have an internal power struggle, assassins poised to strike, and then things get even worse. There's an external threat.
Oh, yeah. As if a secret war between assassins wasn't enough. This night throws in something completely else. An external, almost apocalyptic threat. Comes from this unnatural storm brewing out in the Sea of Storms.
Right. This is where it goes from political thriller to something cosmic.
Exactly. The storm isn't just weather. It's the arrival mechanism for the Storm Riders.
Storm Riders. What are they?
We get these descriptions. Dazzling sapphire figures. Definitely not human. They ride these terrifying mounts. Half beast, half actual wave, like living water.
Whoa.
Armed with lances made of jagged ice, they're surging north out of the strait, described like unstoppable siege engines built to flatten continents, an ancient, deeply frightening force.
And there's an immediate human cost, right? That ship, the Rennie's Dream.
Yeah, caught right in it. The focus is on the captain, Merle, his whole crew. They're all his relatives, blood kin.
Oh, man.
The description is just harrowing. Deck covered in ice, ship trapped, and he's watching these sapphire shapes diving and breaching the waves like sharks, closing in.
Hopeless.
But it's bigger than just one ship being raided. There's a magical element.
Much bigger. The local mages who are still around at Gyla and Obo, they figure something out. The Storm Riders, they're being held back somehow by a magical barrier.
A barrier. Protecting the island. Seems like it. But here's the kicker. Surly's political crackdown, her ban on local magic, it's backfired spectacularly.
How so?
She rounded up or eliminated the local magic users, you know, the wind whistlers, the sea soothers, people who probably maintained those natural defenses over centuries.
So in trying to secure her political power, she accidentally stripped the island's magical defenses.
Precisely. The island is now vulnerable to this ancient enemy because the new regime didn't understand or didn't care about the old ways. Mundane power over spiritual protection.
And Agila, the sorceress, she figures out what the Storm Riders are actually after.
Yeah, she confronts Tayshrin, the high mage who just arrived, and lays it out. This isn't random. It's a calculated reach for power, for influence, and their target. It's the house.
The dead house.
The dead house itself. They want it.
Okay, that changes everything. The dead house isn't just a symbol for Kellanved and Dancer. It's a nexus, coveted by, well, by these sapphire ice demons, too.
It seems that way. Suddenly, the assassination plot feels small. It's a race to control this nexus before this ancient frozen apocalypse claims it for itself.
Let's talk about Tayshrin, then. He arrives as Artan, right? Imperial High Mage. He's the Empire's magical muscle on the scene.
He is. Master of the Thurwarn, the Path of Light. Incredibly powerful. But he walks right into this confrontation with Agila, and she sees right through him. She basically calls him out for his petty politicking, says he's fiddling while Rome or Malaz Isle is about to burn. The source says she forces him to see the real scale of the Storm Rider threat.
And how does he react?
He probes their power with his own magic, and he's genuinely shaken, horrified. He realizes this isn't something he can just manage. He has to commit all his strength just to hold them back, or the entire island could be wiped out.
So he becomes an unwilling defender.
Reluctant, but necessary. He's stuck holding the magical line against this external horror.
Okay, and at the same time, there's another dark force converging. Oleg Vikat, driven by revenge.
Pure incandescent revenge. Oleg Vikat. He claims Kellanved betrayed him years ago, stole his research, left him blind and mute.
Ouch.
Yeah, and now Oleg is bound to the Shadow Realm, and he believes he should rule it. He's vengeance literally crawling out of shadow.
And he's not alone. He's working with others.
Right. He seems allied, at least initially, with the Shadow Cultists. They also want the Shadow Throne. They're active on the island, too, using these creepy signs like severed bird's foot Kiska finds.
A bird's foot.
Yeah. It suggests they're not just preying, they're hunting. Probably eliminating rivals or failures within their own ranks. The path to the Shadow Throne is clearly messy.
Okay, let me get this straight. On this tiny forgotten island, on this one night we have Surly's Claw hunting Kellanved. Kellanved and Dancer trying to return and claim something. Oleg and the Shadow Club hunting the Shadow Throne. The Storm Riders trying to seize the Dead House. And Tayshrin trying to hold back the Storm Riders and hunt the cultists.
It's good. Yeah, a perfect storm. A convergence of every possible kind of threat in one tiny location. Utter chaos.
Wow. Okay. To make sense of this chaos, we really need to see it through the eyes of the people on the ground. Let's start with Kiska. She's described as a young learner.
Yeah, Kiska's a great viewpoint character because she's basically us, the listener. She's a local kid desperate to get off the island, sees Tayshrin arrive, thinks maybe he's her ticket out.
And ends up way over her head.
Massively. She follows him and stumbles right into what the lore calls a convergence. A moment where the walls between different realms get thin or break down entirely.
And she ends up where?
In the Shadow Realm, and we get these really vivid descriptions, this vast flat plain of baked sand, dust devils swirling around, everything lit by this weird, hazy, pale silver light. It's alien, hostile, disorienting.
Not a fun place for a holiday.
Definitely not. And she immediately encounters some seriously ancient and powerful figures there. First off, Edgewalker.
Edgewalker. Tell me about him.
He's fascinating. Described as ancient, desiccated, almost mummified. He's bound to this realm, forced to eternally walk its borders. He's seen it all, utterly cynical.
A bit creepy.
Very. He's talking to another figure, Jadal, who's a former king, now imprisoned inside a standing stone, a menhir. Edgewalker casually tells Kiska that the beings who imprisoned Jadal are long gone and forgotten, just to emphasize how incredibly old he is.
Okay, so ancient, powerful, slightly terrifying guide.
Pretty much. And he's worried. The Shadow Throne, the seat of power in this realm, has been empty too long. It's making the realm unstable, attracting, well, cosmic pests like the Storm Riders, maybe. He's the one who speaks the hard truths about power.
And it's during this trip to Shadow that Oleg Vikat delivers a message, even though he's dying back in the real world.
Yeah, it's wild. Oleg, having just been stabbed, uses his last moments, his spirit projected into shadow, to give Kiska a message for Tayshrin, or Artan as she knows him.
What's message?
It's the absolute core of the night's mystery. He says Kellanved is returning for the throne of shadow, not the Malazan throne. And the key is, transubstantiation must be the time of striking. Entombment is the way to end one such as him.
Transubstantiation, entombment, what does that even mean?
Exactly what Kiska wonders. Transubstantiation suggests a fundamental change, right? Not just becoming emperor, but becoming
Whoa.
something divine, ascending. And Oleg is saying that's the moment to hit him. The counterplan is entombment.
And Edgewalker clarifies what that means.
He does, later. He tells Kiska the price of failing to stop Kellanved, or perhaps the price of Kellanved failing himself, is this entombment, which means eternal enslavement to Shadow House.
So not death, eternal servitude to the very realm he wants to rule.
Bingo. The stakes are absolute. Fail, and you become a prisoner of your own ambition forever.
Okay. Kiska somehow gets back from Shadow and immediately faces more danger.
Yep. No rest for the wicked or the accidentally dimensionally displaced. She's back on Malaz Isle, and bang, a claw assassin tries to garrote her.
Just like that, why?
He literally calls her mere clutter. Just someone in the way of his mission, cold-blooded. She only survives because there's this random blast of magic, probably fallout from the Dead House fight, that knocks him off balance.
Lucky break. But the terror continues.
Oh yeah. Later, she witnesses this horrific massacre at the Southern Crescent Inn. It's attacked by a hound of shadow.
A herd of shadow, like
Yeah.
a literal demonic dog.
Something like that. A creature of immense power and terror. And this scene, it really hits home the spiritual emptiness of the night.
How so?
Kiska sees this terrified young man cornered by the hound, and he screams out Kellanved's name. Kellanved! Protect me! I invoke your name! Trying to call on the returning emperor for salvation.
And does it work?
Nope. The hound just crushes his head moments later. It's brutal. It perfectly shows that the gods, or would-be gods, are busy fighting their own battles. Their followers, left utterly defenseless. The return offers no immediate protection on the ground.
Grim. Okay, let's shift perspective to Temper, the soldier. His story involves a big reveal about his past, right?
Huge reveal.
Yeah.
Turns out Temper isn't just some random tough guy. He's identified by the Mage Karen. She's a bridge burner, another famous military unit. She recognizes him. Temper was part of the Sword.
His sword, what's that?
The elite personal bodyguard unit of Dassam Ultor. The first sword of the Empire. A legendary figure.
So Temper was one of those guys, but weren't they wiped out at Yucatan?
That was the story. The breaking of the sword. Everyone thought they, including Dassam, were killed or scattered. But Temper survived.
So he's carrying that weight. Survivor's guilt.
Massively. He spent the last year running, drinking, trying to forget. This whole night for him is about proving he's still got it. That he's not just a broken relic. Maybe find something worth fighting or dying for again.
And his search leads him where?
Right to the Dead House. He's drawn there, maybe seeking that final fight, and he confronts the Guardian.
Jenna.
Jenna. Who or what is she?
She's described as this imposing figure in ancient, heavy armor, and the reveal is stunning. Jenna is a Jakut.
A Jakut. Uh-oh, I know that name. Ancient, powerful, usually tyrants, ice magic.
The very same.
Yeah.
Terrifyingly long-lived, immensely powerful beings from way back in history, and one of them is the Guardian of the Dead House.
So Temper has to fight a Jakut. How does that even work? It immediately goes sideways. Jenna doesn't just fight him physically. She drags him into her warren, Amtos Felak.
The Elder Warren of Ice.
Exactly. Imagine being yanked from this humid, chaotic island night into a blinding, eternal blizzard dimension.
That's a tactical disadvantage.
Understatement. It's a brilliant move to stall him. Stall Temper, stall Kellanved's potential allies. Jenna tells him straight up, time works differently here.
I could keep you here for an age only to return an instant after we left.
Oh, that's terrifying. The idea of being trapped for centuries while only seconds pass outside.
Pure psychological horror. And she throws in this little tidbit, too, that her kind, the Jakut, were once humanity's teachers before humans messed it all up. Adds another layer of weirdness to it.
A grumpy, immortal teacher trying to freeze you forever. Lovely. But she doesn't keep him there indefinitely.
No. Edgewalker shows up again.
Edgewalker. In the Jakut Ice Warren.
Oh.
Boundaries are thin tonight, remember? Convergence. Edgewalker just appears and tells Jenna, basically, time's up. Even Amtos Felak has to follow the rules during this cosmic event. She can't stall forever.
And he says something to Temper, too.
Yeah, a little psychological prod. He tells Temper the only reason this Jakut is still fighting him is because she believes she can win. It reframes the fight. It's not just endurance, it's a test of will against this ancient, terrifying power.
Okay. So Temper is fighting for his life. Kiska is witnessing horrors. The night is speeding towards its climax. Let's look at the final moves. Back at Mock's hold, Surly springs her trap.
Right. Surly might not have understood the cosmic stakes, but she was ready for a physical confrontation. She's pragmatic, Temper, Corinne the Mage, and Ash, another ex-bridge burner officer, they all end up converging on the hold. But Corinne and Ash get captured.
Taken upstairs. And Surly had prepared something special for Kellanved, assuming he'd show up there.
Oh yeah, she planned for his known strength.
Yeah.
Magic. The room upstairs where she expected the confrontation, she'd seeded it. Heavily. With Otoro or...
Ototaral. Okay, remind us, what does that stuff do? It's anti-magic, right?
Exactly. It's this incredibly rare, dangerous metal. Its mere presence nullifies magic, creates a dead zone. So by packing the room with it, Surly brilliantly leveled the playing field.
She took away Kellanved's biggest weapon.
Turned him from a potentially godlike mage into just a guy. Forced him into a simple knife fight against her elite claw assassins.
Yeah.
It shows you her mindset. She thought he was just coming back for the Imperial throne. Her plan was meticulous for the fight she expected.
But she miscalculated the real prize.
Yeah.
Which was being claimed down at the dead house. Kiska sees this part.
Kiska witnesses the absolute final moments of the struggle. She sees Oleg Vikat now more like a vengeful spirit than a man actually managed to grab Kellanved.
He catches the Emperor.
Yeah, just as Kellanved is about to reach his goal.
Yeah.
And Kellanved is described, tellingly, as just an elder Dalanese struggling and howling, still mortal in that final second. Oleg starts dragging him towards one of those weird steaming mounds on the grounds. But the house itself intervenes, maybe, or claims it's due. Oleg gets absorbed, pulled into the mound, a bit at a time, until he's gone. Enslaved.
He failed, so he paid the price Edgewalker mentioned, eternal servitude.
Seems like it. The Shadow Throne demands a price, one way or another. But in that chaos, Kellanved and Dancer slip free.
They make it.
They make it. Kiska sees them disappear through this narrow warp door at the back of the dead house. They're in. They've entered the House of Shadow. Game over. On one level, they've ascended.
The political fight back on the island is suddenly irrelevant.
Completely moot. They were playing a much bigger game all along.
So Kellanved and Dancer are gone. What about Temper? He survived the Jakut. Now what?
He heads back to Mock's hold, fights his way up the stairs, through the mess the Claw left behind, until he reaches the top and there's one last guard.
The final boss.
Sort of. The guard drops his disguise, and it's Dancer.
Oh! Face to face, the last of the sword and the original master assassin.
The absolute dramatic peak. And Dancer confirms, yeah, he's the gatekeeper. And he's got Corinne and Ash. He has leverage.
How does he play it? Is he menacing? Triumphant?
What's striking is how casual he is. Almost nonchalant about the tarnage. It was just cleanup. Necessary. And he basically blackmails Temper.
Blackmail?
Yeah. He offers a trade. Corinne and Ash's lives for Temper service. One last service, he says, from the last shard of the shattered sword. He knows exactly which buttons to push. Temper's loyalty, his guilt, his need to save his friends.
What's the service?
Temper has to agree to work with Perlt. He's one of the shadow cult leaders who somehow survived the night's chaos on a cleanup operation in the city, consolidating things.
So Dancer wins, gets his ascendancy, neutralizes Surly's immediate threat, and secures the loyalty of the last sword through manipulation.
Masterful, cold, efficient, and sets everything up for what comes next.
And this moment.
Yeah.
This is Dancer becoming something else, isn't it?
It's the pivot point. He's still acting as Dancer here.
Yeah.
But the sources, especially Edgewalker's later comments in Shadow, make it clear. This is the birth of Cotillion, the patron of assassins, the new god of Shadow.
Wow. Okay. So let's try and wrap our heads around the end state of this insane night.
That's a lot to process.
The founders, Kellanved and Dancer, they did it. Got into the dead house, achieved ascendancy, became gods, basically.
Please?
Surly, the regent. Her immediate plan failed, but she's still alive, still mistress of the claw, still technically in charge of the mundane empire back on the mainland, ready to pick up the pieces.
Right. She lost this battle, but maybe not the war for the physical empire.
Taishran and Hattar are the Imperial officials.
They leave on the message cutter. Their mission containing the chaos, holding the magical line, was broadly successful. The island didn't sink. And crucially, they take Kiska with them.
Why Kiska?
She survived. She saw things. She knows things too valuable, maybe too dangerous to just leave behind. She's inducted into Imperial service.
And Temper, our haunted soldier.
Temper's alive. He faced down a jacket, stared down Dancer Cotillion, and came out the other side. He got Corinne freed. He found, well, something to fight for again, even if it's murky. He's proven he's not broken.
But he's now working for the new King of Shadow, at least for now.
Yeah, reforged, you could say. but definitely in Shadow's service for the time being.
But the real ending, the epilogue, isn't on Malaz Isle. It's in the Shadow Realm, with the newly ascended founders.
Exactly. They got what they wanted, godhood.
Yeah.
But Edgewalker's there to provide the cosmic reality check.
What does he say to them? To Kellanved and Cotillion?
He confronts them. Kellanved, leaning on his fancy new walking stick, basically declares himself master, tells Edgewalker, while you are a slave to Shadow, I command Shadow. Big talk.
And Edgewalker's response?
Utter cynicism. He's seen this before. Every claimant to the throne thinks they'll be different. Edgewalker's final judgment. They haven't become masters of Shadow. They've just become slaves to Shadow. New management, same eternal prison.
Wow. So reaching godhood is just a higher form of imprisonment.
It's perfectly Malazan, isn't it? That
Yeah.
deep, cynical twist. Power always comes with chains.
It really does. And the source material leaves us with one last thing, right? Something from the ground level that throws everything into question again.
Yeah, a final, really unsettling moment. It comes from that fisherman who survived the Storm Rider attack, the one on the Rennie's Dream.
What happens?
He encounters one of the Sapphire Storm Riders dying on the shore. This creature, painted throughout the story as this monstrous, inhuman aggressor.
Yeah.
The fisherman steels himself, finally delivers the killing blow.
Yeah.
And the writer speaks. In Broken Coralline, the language from the Empire's disastrous southern war, it asks him 3 times before it dies, why are you killing us?
Whoa.
Right? If this whole world is built on messing with tropes, what does it mean when the supposed ancient demons, the inhuman threat? What if they see the great Malazan Empire as the aggressor, the ones doing the unprovoked killing?
That changes the perspective entirely.
It's the kind of moral knot that sticks with you long after the story ends. And that's the question we want to leave you with. As you think about the history that spins out from this single, incredibly bloody night, who were the real monsters?
A perfect, deeply uncomfortable place to end our deep dive. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time for another look inside the stories you thought you knew.